Hi there. Today's lesson is about adding integers. So all we're doing is adding today integers. Integers, remember, can be positive or negative. That's talking about where it is in terms of relationship on the number line. If 0's here, I can have a -3 there, but I can have a +3 over there. And we're going to be adding integers together, positive and negative. Now, the little packet here that I have on display, you can kind of maybe take some notes on if you like. Okay, kind of gives you some ideas for how this works. It says to add integers with the same sign, add their absolute values. The sum is if both are positive, then the sum is positive. If the sum is negative, it's negative if both integers are negative. Okay, so if they have the same sign, you're going to find the absolute values. What I like to think of it is this: if the sign is the same, we find the sum and we keep the sign the same. Okay, so if I have a 4 plus a 2, the signs are the same, so I'm going to have an answer where I keep the sign the same. If I had a -4 plus a -2, the signs are the same, I find the sum, and I keep the sign the same. Okay, so that's how I like to think of it there. If the signs are different, so if the signs are different, I'm going to find the difference and keep the, I'm going to say bigger, but it's not actually bigger sign. Bigger is actually means the larger, the greatest absolute value. What do I mean by that? Well, when we're talking about ones with different signs, it's a little bit different. Okay, so let's say I have a 4 and a 2 again, okay, and I have a -4 plus a +2. Now in this case, my signs are different. I have a negative and there's nothing in front of it, which means it's positive. If there's nothing there, it's positive. Now, which one has the greater absolute value? So let's go back to our absolute value talk before. The absolute value of -4 is going to be 4. The absolute value of 2 is going to be 2. So which one has the greater absolute value? The -4 does. So what I want to do in this case here, if the signs are different, I'm going to find the difference. Difference means subtract. So I'm going to do 4 minus 2, which is 2. But in terms of the sign, signs are different, find the difference, and I'm going to keep the bigger sign. In this case, the absolute value of -4 was the one with the larger sign. So -2 is going to be my solution. So those are my examples here for how this would work. Let's work this out with some real examples. Okay? All right. So here's some examples worked out. Example 1, find the sum of +4 and a -6. In this case here, I have a positive and I have a negative. So because they're different, I'm going to find the difference. So I can do 6 minus 4 gives me 2. And which one has the greater absolute value? We would say -6. So that sign is going to be negative, and we're going to be there at -2. Okay? If you look at what they're doing here in terms of a number line, just conceptually to understand what's happening, it says we're starting at 0, and we're going to go 4 positive. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to add -6. -6 means I'm going to go to the left 6. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I end up here at -2. Okay, so you're going from left to right and mapping that out on a number line. This is a great little tool to use to help you see what's supposed to be happening. Let's look at the next one here. We have here -2 plus a -3. This is an example of the signs are the same, so I'm going to find the sum and keep the signs the same. So what I mean by that is I'm going to find the sum, adding 2 plus 3 together. So 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, and I'm going to keep the sign the same. It's negative, so we're going to keep it as a -5. Let's look at it on a number line and see what that means. So in this case here, we start at 0. And we're starting at 0, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go -2. We're going to go back 2 hops here. Then we're going to add another -3. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and we land over here at -5. Okay, so those are our examples. All right, let's do some more. Okay, and again, if a number line helps you, then just draw a number line that you can use real quick. So in this case here, I can see I have two numbers. They're all adding, and I have the same sign. The signs are the same. So I'm going to find the sum,
please make your way to C23
and I'm going to keep the sign the same. So 5 plus 2 is 7, and the sign stays the same at -7. For the next one, I have 8 and 1. They're both positive, so I'm going to find the sum of 8 and 1 is 9, and keep the sign the same, it's 9. But when we look at number 3, we have a -7 and nothing in front of that, so that means it's a +10. So now they're different. So I'm going to find the difference. 10 minus 7 is 3. And which one has the greater absolute value? Thinking about number line, here's 0. -7 would be here. +10 would be here. So which one is further away from 0? Well, the 10 is further away than -7, so that was a positive number. We'll keep it a +3 and leave it just like that. Okay, let's look at another one real quick for you. Zoom in just a tad. So number 4, we have two numbers here. One is positive, one is negative. So we're going to find the difference. And then we're going to take the 11, and we'll put it right here, and we're going to find the difference. So 16 minus 11. You might be asking, why do I do it like that? I'm going to put the larger number, just number, on top to find the difference. 16 minus 11 is 5. Now I need to ask myself, which one has the greater absolute value? 16 or -11? Well, in this case here, the 16 does, so it really is a +5. This next one, we can see the signs are what? They're the same. So because the signs are the same, our answer is going to be the same. It's going to be negative. So I'll find the sum, keep the sign the same. 22 plus 7 is 29. And we keep the sign the same as a -29. For the next one, we can see we have a positive and a negative. So we're going to find the difference and keep this greater sign, or the bigger sign, the absolute value. But in this case, I have 50 and 50. So the difference between 50 and 50 is 0. So because it's 0, zero, remember, is neither positive nor negative. It's simply 0. Okay? Let me do one that has a few together, like number 10 down here, because you will have a couple of these. The key with doing number 10 or ones like that is just work left to right. So let's first of all start right here, and we have a -7 plus a -3. The signs are the same, so we're going to find the sum and keep the sign the same. 7 plus 3 is 10, so we'll leave it as a 10. And the sign stays the same, so -10 there. And now let's add in the next number, which was +10. So the next step here, I have -10 plus 10. In this case, the signs are different, so I find the difference. 10 minus 10 is 0. And keep the larger absolute value sign. But because it's 0, it's simply going to stay as a 0. Okay, so you're going to do some more like this on your own. So good luck, and pause the video to work on your stuff, and then come back and check for the answers in just a second. Alright, let's try to work on some of the homework ones. So, we were doing the odd ones today. So the first one here, we have a -1 and a -8. So in this case, the signs are the same. So we're going to find the sum and keep the sign the same. So 1 plus 8 is 9, and the sign is negative, so we'll keep that as a -9. For number 3, we have a 19 and a -7. In this case, the signs are different, so we're going to find the difference. 19 minus 7 is 9 minus 7 is 2, so we have 12. And we're going to keep the greater sign, or the greater absolute value. So in this case here, if I think about absolute value of 19 and -7, we're going to do that there. We have 19 is going to be 19, absolute value of -7 is 7, so we're going to keep it as a positive number, so we keep 12 as simply 12. For number 5, I have a -12 and a +10, so the signs are different. I will find the difference, so 12 minus 10 is 2, and now I'll think about absolute value of -12 is 12, absolute value of 10 is 10. This one has a greater absolute value, So the negative number does. We keep it as a negative solution, -2. Number 46, or 7, sorry, we have different signs, set negative and positive. So again, we will find the difference. Oops. 46 minus 27. Sorry about that. We have to borrow, and we end up with 19. Now I look at absolute value. Absolute value of negative 46 is 46. Absolute value of 27 is 27. This one's bigger, so we're going to keep the sign as what it says right there, negative 19. On number 9, we have negative 29 and negative 25. The signs are the same, so we keep this sign the same as we find the sum. Find the sum and keep the sign the same. 9 plus 5 is 14. We have 5. They're negative, so it stays a negative 54. Number 11, a couple steps here. We have the signs are the same for the first part, so we're going to find the sum of that and keep the sign the same. So 17 plus 15 is equal to 32, but I want to keep it a negative 32, correct? And then I'll add to that 10. So now the signs are different for the next step, so I'll find the difference, 32 minus 10, which is equal to 22, but which one has the greater absolute value? Absolute value negative 32 or absolute value 10? We would say absolute value negative 32, so my answer is negative 22. For number 13, similar idea. Let's start here. First we have these here, go left to right, always go left to right, okay? So negative 5 plus 8, the signs are different. I find the difference. 8 minus 5 is 3, and the greater absolute value, if I'm looking at the 8 and the negative 5, is 8, so it's positive. I can rewrite this as plus negative 1 plus negative 6. And now let's do this one. The signs here are different, so I find the difference. 3 minus 1 is 2. Which one has a greater absolute value? This one does, but it's still positive. So we're going to do 2 plus a negative 6. Now finally, we have different signs. We find the difference. 6 minus 2, which is 4. And which one has a greater absolute value? 2 or negative 6? Well, the negative 6 does. It's the greater distance away from 0. So we'll have our answer be negative 4. And finally, number 15 here. We have negative 15 and positive 10. Those are going to be different signs. We find the difference. 15 minus 10 is 5. Keep the greater absolute value, which is the 15, so we have negative. Negative 5 plus negative 16. In this case here, the signs are the same, so we'll find the sum. 16 and 5 go together to make 21, and keep the negative sign. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add the next one to it, 12. In this case, the signs are different, so we'll find the difference. So 21 minus 12. 11 minus 2 is 9. Which one has a greater absolute value? We would say the negative 21 does, so we're going to keep it as a negative 9 for our answer there. 17 is a great question for you to work on and think about, right? What's the total population change for these 4 cities? So that would mean you want to add them up and get a number right here, add them up, get a number right there, and find the population change. Okay, hope that helps you out. We'll see you in the next one.